Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Nakwam, watching for Israel coming back at you with these precepts. And another cold cut, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Malak Yabushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach Malak Yabushai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverence to their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to everybody tuning in live. Nahum Yasha Allah, Don Israel, Justin Washington, Benjamin Youngwolf, Israel, Kyoko Banyamyan, T. Sellers, Karab Shaw, Yasha Allah, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. Topic of this cold cut is the creation and fall of man, the Torah, and other secrets. Right? The creation and fall of man, the Torah, and other secrets. So we're going to go into the law, go into Genesis, go into the creation of man, why man was created, what purpose do they serve, when men were created, how men fell, how do we end up in this state that we're in right now. So we're going to go into these things and uncover various scriptures that the world does not want to expound upon. Because when you leave it up to the world and they want to go into the creation of man, they throw lewd numbers at you, they pervert history, and they never include Yahweh Bashmi Abushad. But every single person, whether you're tall, short, brown, dark brown, no melanin, you're red, whether you're a dwarf, a giant, you know, whether you have 6 fingers or damn 10 fingers, whether you're short, whether you're fast, whether you're slow, whether you're intelligent, whether you have particular mental illnesses, man. Everybody was created by the Most High. There is no Big Bang Theory. There is no evolution. There is no evolving from a single cell organism. And throughout the process of millions of years, you have become man that we know of today, man. Right, let's go to Genesis chapter 1. We're going to uncover more in depth because the most we may go into, okay, man was created. Right? Now what? Adam was created and he had Eve, but we're going to go beyond that. Now, this is Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. And God said, and we know this word God in the Hebrew is Elohim. You look it up, it says Elohim, right? Elohim is more so of the English mixed with Yiddish variation of Elohim. Allah meaning God, and Yum makes it plural, so that's gods or powers. So it's dealing with Yahweh Shai and the angels, who has been given instruction by the Most High to be able to get this creation rolling, according to the Most High's program, right? So when God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Yahweh Bashmi Abushai said they're going to create man. Man was made on a 6th day, right? On a 5th day, you had living creatures that were made that dwell in the waters. On a 6th day, you had beast and man that was created. Now, man was originally like beast, but the Most High said we're going to make man in our image. So the Most High said that we're going to put man in a spirit where he can be upright and be allowed to conform to a level of righteousness. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7, right? Because you still see men now who live like beasts, and we bring those precepts out all the time, right? Who eat unclean foods, eat food with blood in it, have sex with all types of animals, and commit all types of lewdness, right? those men still live like beasts, right? But you have particular men in this life right now that are created in the image of the Most High. This Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that the Most High hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. So man was originally made in the image of the Most High. They were made to be upright. And guess what? The Israelite man, the only reason you have the will and the ability to uphold the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments is because you were made in his image. You were made upright. Now, guess what? You have other nations that can keep the law too, but they willfully decide not to. There's only one nation that can't keep the laws of the Most High. That's Esau, right? He's created to be the wicked. But the Moabite man, he could keep the law. The law wasn't given to him, but he's going to have to keep the law in the kingdom. The Ammonite man, he's going to have to keep the law in the kingdom. The Ishmaelite man, he's going to have to keep the law in the kingdom. So they're going to keep the laws and the commandments because they were made. Man was made in the ability to keep the Most High's laws. And we as a people, the Israelites, we were made as the priests and the kings and as the mediators between the Most High and these other nations. So there's a reason why man was created, why particular nations were created. This is all the Most High's program. Let me prove that these nations are going to keep the commandments, right? Let's get this real quick. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 16. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So they have the ability in their spirit to do these things. Not on the level of Israel, right? Because we're above them in zeal, faith, and diligence, and our spirit is more in tune with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. These other nations, they're not in tune like we are, but yet they can still keep the law. Does that mean we're going out there teaching them the law? No. The Lord said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to these dogs. This is speaking about the kingdom, and they're going to have to get beat into subjection and beat to keep the law, right? Nevertheless, they have the ability to do so. And this shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. So you'll go through a famine, your cattle will die out, your grass will wither, you'll starve out, your rivers will dry up, and you'll be cut out the land of the living. Let's get one more real quick. Isaiah chapter 66. Right, this Isaiah chapter 66 and 23. And this shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. Right? So everybody's going to come and keep the Sabbath in the kingdom. Everybody's going to keep the new moon in the kingdom, and various other laws that are going to be reinforced and continued on. So man was made in the image, right, of the Most High. And it says after his likeness. Likeness meaning what? His fingers, head, shoulders, torso, abdomen, thighs, feet. You leave it up to the so-called white man, they tell you that you only look like this because you're directly related to a monkey. See if I can pull this evolution. What is that? Evolution monkey to man, right? I mean, it's madness. See, Esau tells you you look like this because you share similar characteristics to that of a ape, a chimpanzee. Look at this madness. That's why you don't follow the so-called white man, man. Look at this. And these devils are so proud, they actually give you dates. Look at this. When did man Look at the stages of evolution of man. See, at one time, according to Esau, you were an Australopithecus afarensis. Then you were a Homo habilis. Then you was a Homo erectus, and you started walking upright. Then you was a Homo neanderthalensis, and now you're a Homo sapien. Now the word sapio, I believe it goes back to the word wisdom. Right? Let's see if I could pull that up. Let's see. Homo sapien. I want to see if they give you that meaning. Okay, you see that? Homo sapiens, meaning Latin, wise man. So you leave it up to the so-called white man. He says that you were given wisdom when you evolved from a Homo Neanderthal and you became a wise man when you started to walk upright. Right, look at this. Homo sapiens, Latin, wise man. Homo meaning man, sapiens meaning wise. The species to which all modern human beings belong, Homo sapiens, is one of several species grouped in the genus Homo, but it is the only one that is not extinct. The name Homo sapiens died in 1758 by the father. We know who this is, right? We're going to put this guy up, man. By the father of modern biological classification, taxonomy, right? Carolus Linnaeus. He's the guy who coined that term, wise man, the so-called white man. Where in the scriptures did the Most High say we started off as monkeys? You had guys like Darwin and said that, hey, look, you were an ape, and then in process of time, you started stretching, and then you started walking a little bit stronger and taller and faster. Right? This is absolute madness. Then if we look up, okay, when did man, let's see, walk upright? Let's see what date they want to give you. Look at this. From at least 6 to 3 million years ago, early humans combined ape-like and human-like ways of moving around. So you can't trust the so-called white man. There's no account of the earth being 6 million years old. And there's no way you can track that and deal with that type of time, huh? Those are just lewd numbers the so-called white man throws out there to throw you off because you can't hold it accountable because it's so damn far away, man. 6 to 3 million years ago. See, if something happens yesterday, you can kind of prove based off of things that have moved around or words that people have said or events that transpired. Or if things happened a week ago or 10 years ago. When you throw something 3 million years ago, you can't track that, man. So you can't really question it, and a lot of people just deal with it. Now, that's not according to the Most High. Right? We're going to put up a timeline on man and Adam. So the Most High said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So you have dominion, rulership. You understand? That's what you call the so-called food chain or a hierarchy. Because the man in general, and there's levels of man too, but man in general, you have dominion over the fish of the sea. When you move around, these animals move out the way. You can hunt these animals. They can't hunt you. You can eat these animals. Hey, they can't eat you, man. You have dominion. You know what's clean, what's unclean. They're in subjection to you. Their spirit is in subjection unto your spirit. That's when you walk around, hey, these it'd be a rodent or a squirrel or whatever. They move out the way because they know in their spirit they were created to be submissive unto you. Now, there was a time when this was at its peak, but now this barely happens, man. You know, people are getting attacked by wild beasts, pit bulls, lions. sharks. There was a time when all of the beasts obeyed man. When you go into Genesis, let's go to Genesis real quick. The 8th chapter. I believe I went to 7th chapter. Okay, so like it is chapter, I believe it was chapter 8 or 9. Right, dealing with Noah in the ark. All right, this Genesis chapter 8 and verse 7. I'm going to start at 6. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, because Noah wanted to see if the water was going down. And he sent forth a raven which went to and fro until the waters were dried up of the earth. So Noah, he could deal with these beasts and these birds. They call these, I can't think of the technical term, but they call them bird trainers. These guys, they'll be in a football field and they'll have a falcon attached to their arm. And they'll send that falcon around, and that falcon will land right back on their arm. Or they'll have an eagle. They'll have an eagle on their shoulder, and they'll send that eagle out to fly around the field. But that eagle has been trained to come back. And a lot of these animals, they got to torture and beat to submit. Noah didn't have to torture and beat this raven, man. These animals naturally submitted unto Noah, just like they did unto Noah's father, man. Lamech and his father Methuselah and his father Enoch and his father Jared, all the way up to Seth. Right, let's read on. Also, he sent a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark. For the waters were on the face of the whole earth. And he put forth his then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her unto him into the ark. And he stayed yet other 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening. You see that? And lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. So these animals were in submission to Noah, man. He would send them out. They would come back. They'll take something, bring it to Noah, and say, hey, look, there's no more water in this area. I could have made a nest right there, but I decided to come back to you. You know, so that dove actually came back. These beasts obeyed man back then. You know, and you had true dominion. Now in the kingdom, it's going to revert back to that. When you go to Isaiah 11th chapter and other chapters, the Most High tells you how these animals are going to get that submission back into them. Right? Isaiah chapter 11 and 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. Right? Now, if you try to have a little child lead them now, what's going to happen? A CPS is coming. Child Protective Services are coming at your door. If they see your child playing with a young lion and a wolf and a leopard, man, and they'll take your child away and sell them to some damn devil. But in the spirit, in the kingdom, the Most High is going to take that predator, carnivore state away from beast, because that's how it was in the beginning. That's why a lot of these animals that man had, or all of the animals that man had dominion over, it was a particular spirit that the Most High put in their mind where they didn't eat any other animals. Man, there were no predators. Lions didn't eat deers, man, and zebras. All animals were vegetarians. And that helped the spirit of these beasts not really dealing with man. So in the kingdom is going to go back to that. Let me prove that real quick. Right? Some brothers, you already know this, but for those who may not, let's go to Genesis, the 6th chapter. All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 21. Here's the Most High bringing all of the beasts into the ark. Right? This Genesis chapter 6 and 21. It reads, and take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it unto thee. It's like it, gather it to thee and it shall be food for thee and for them. So all of the food that Noah ate in the ark was the same food that the animals ate. Noah didn't have wings. He never knew what a 12-piece was, man. You know, Jake, you go, you get a 12-piece and a damn half and half, man. You know, and some barbecue sauce. Zebras never tasted. Lions never tasted zebra flesh. These things never happened. So back in those days, all of the creatures were vegetarians. All right, that's what this is saying in Isaiah chapter 11. Little children are going to have these animals submit to them. They're going to tell a leopard what to do. You're going to be able to tell that lion, hey, go over here. You're going to be able to tell that goat, hey, go over here, man. Verse 7. And the cow and the bear shall feed. And Jake, you can barely tell your dog to sit, man. You got these guys like the dog whisperer. I got to hire this guy. He has to train my dog. You know, maybe he could speak sweet nothings to him, man, and get him to submit to me. You're getting chased in the alleys by Rottweilers. It reads, and the cow and the bear shall feed. Their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. You see that? So the Most High is going to have lions eat straw. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp. Your child will be able to play with a snake. You got these guys that walk around with snakes in their neck. And you know, and we're looking at those guys funny, man. Because we know at any given second, hey, that animal can flip on you, man. And coil itself around your neck, suffocate you, and cut you down. But in the kingdom, you'll be able to have that, man. You know? And the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. So animals won't be hurting and destroying man again. Right? In the time of Genesis, that's the true nature of man having dominion over the fish, over the fowls, over the beast. That's what that's going into. Right? Let's read this again. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So the Most High created man in his own image. And the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And the Most High blessed them. And the Most High said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and of every living thing that moveth upon the earth. So man was programmed. And one of man's first commandments was to be what? Fruitful and multiply. And this isn't talking about just Adam and Eve. Again, in Christianity, and we've done breakdowns of Genesis 2, Genesis 3. You can type those in on the same channel and find that. This is speaking about all of man. Do you think the Most High made one male bird and one female bird? One male monkey, one female monkey? One male lion, one female lion? No, the Most High made a great multitude of all of these different beasts. The Most High didn't make one rose, one sunflower, one lily, one mountain, and one tree, one ant, and one damn bee, man. The Most High mass produced these things, right? He mass produced these things, man. Manufactured them. The word manufacture means to make with your hand. Manu goes back to the Latin meaning hand, and facere meaning to do. So the Lord did these things by the work of his hand. He mass produced or mass manufactured all of these different beasts, creeping things, and men, and flowers, and various other things in the creation. Right? Let's prove that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 5. right? And I want to go to that word etymology so brothers can understand, right? Let's see, etymology. I'll go to that word manufacture, because that's what they do in warehouses, facilities. They where is this at? Online. It's like I don't want the definition. Okay, Salaki, this is it right here. All right, let's pull up the word. They mass produce things, man. Right? If you work at the Ford plant, they don't make one car. Right? They make more than one. Okay, I don't want manufacturer. Okay, man. Okay, Salaki, bear with me. Okay, manufacture. Okay, meaning to make or fabricate. Okay, especially in considerable quantities. You see that? So when you mass produce something, you're manufacturing it. So you make something or fabricate it, or let's actually read the whole definition. Convert material to a form suitable for use. So what material did the Most High use? He used the elements, the dust, and the elements that are in the soil and in the ground. And he converted that material to make man, to make flowers and trees, beasts and creeping things for suitable use, birds to carry seed, man to have dominion, and other beasts to serve their purposes, right? So convert material to a form suitable for use, meaning to make or fabricate, especially in considerable quantities or numbers, as by the aid of many hands. Who's the many hands? Yahweh Shai and the angels. It says, or machinery. So let's go to manufacture. Something made by hand. From medieval Latin, manufactura, meaning by hand. From the Latin manu, meaning hand, and factura, or facere, meaning to perform or to do. Right? That's why it's important to understand the Hebrew, a little bit of Latin, a little bit of Greek, because it gives you more insight to understand and break these scriptures down on a higher level. So the Lord manufactured and mass produced man and told them to do the same thing. That's why when you go to Genesis 5, let's read that real quick. This is Genesis chapter 5 and verse 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam, and the day that the Most High created man, and the likeness of the Most High made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, and the day when they were created. So you see that? Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. So everybody on the earth at that time, they were known as Adam. And their sons were what? Adamites. And their daughters were Adamites. And when they had sons and daughters, they were further Adamites. Now the word Adam goes back to the Hebrew word Adamah, which means from the ground, right? It means from the ground. Now you'll see certain definitions that say man, right? But it's really from the ground or from the earth, because that's what man, that's the elements that man was taken out of. So all of the men and all of the women at one time were created, right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, right? 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, and show you other things that were, for lack of better terms, mass produced, right? That were mass produced by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? So let's get this. This 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse, I want to get straight to the point. Verse 43. 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and 43. For as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was great and what? Innumerable. See, that's what the Most High didn't just make one of anything. right? Speaking about things on the earth. There's one sun, one moon. You leave it up to the so-called white man, they'd say there's more than one sun. There's more than one moon. Saturn has this many moons. Jupiter has 16 or 32. Uranus has 2 moons. There's another sun 10 million miles away, and there's life and man on another galaxy far away. That is not according to the Most High's program. Stop going for what the so-called white man is telling you all the time, huh? Right? For immediately there were great and innumerable fruits, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste. And this happened on the 3rd day. The Most High made different pleasures for the taste. Right? That's where you can taste things. They tell you now you can taste sour, sweet, bitter, salty, and things of that nature. And flowers of unchangeable color and odors of wonderful smell. And this was done the 3rd day. Right? So you had a mass production of man made at one time. Right? Now, do we know what this actually looked like? No. But we know there was no half monkey, half man. That's completely against the program and the creation of the Most High. Man was never, a Homo erectus or a Neanderthal. Look at this, the evolution of you. Look at this, out there naked. Look at this madness. Right? And guess what? You're taught that this thing is true, man. You got to go to this man's school. You have to take a final exam. And okay, what day was man created? Right? Okay, what about evolution? What's the difference between Homo erectus and Homo sapien? And where's all of the half monkeys, half humans at, man? That's what we always like to ask. What made these monkeys stop evolving? What's the big deal? What's the big secret? What did they figure out where they say, hey, look, we don't want to evolve anymore. We're going to let y'all do your thing. We're going to do our thing in the jungle. And y'all let us know how y'all turn up. And then those that started walking upright, they say, hey, look, we're going to keep y'all in the loop. How come they don't communicate no more, man? How come they decided at a split decision to stop evolving? What happened where they have become perfect and they don't need to evolve anymore? Right? And how come man isn't evolving to this day? So we don't believe in Esau's fables and science. So let's read on to Genesis. Right? Genesis chapter 1 and 29. And God said, Slakia, I want to touch on this point. It says, be fruitful and multiply. So that condemns sodomy. That condemns abortions. That condemns contraceptives. Right? That condemns all types of stuff. Esau sell all types of contraceptives and lewdness. Morning after pills, Plan B, tying your tubes up. You got Eve to get their tubes tied. I don't want no more babies. I want to tie my tubes up. Right? Then you got Jake. You get they call it, you get snipped. You know? Oh, the old lady, she want me to get a vasectomy. That's what they call it. Right? I'm not gonna pull up a picture because I don't know what's gonna pop up. But hey, guess what, man? They start cutting stuff and tying stuff up, and you let the so-called white man tie up your woman's secret parts and put it in a knot and blow on it, man. Then you put yourself under that damn big light on the table and let the so-called white man scrub in, and he take his gloves off for you, man, so you can kind of get in there and start cutting your damn stuff all up. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23. Because man is sick. You're a sick individual, man. You're moving in that spirit. Right? You had Will Smith's son. He said he wanted to cut his privy off, man. He said he was thinking about doing it. He just want to cut it off. Right? That's what Jaden Smith said, man, not too long ago. So guess what? His mind is bad. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 23 and 1. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. So if you want to get your that big snip, and it's quick account, man. I knew this this was years ago. I was working at this plantation, and it was this Edomite, man. You know, this Edomite was acting all high and mighty, and I only work here because, you know, I used to be this, you know, I used to do this, and he proceeds to tell his story about his woman. He said, yeah, my woman worked here too, or he says his woman used to work here. I worked the day shift, and he worked the day shift, but evidently his woman worked the night shift at this job a long time ago. And I asked him, I asked him certain questions, you know, to try to see what was going on. And he said, well, look, we're not together anymore. I said, well, what happened? He said that his woman asked him to get a vasectomy. She said that she didn't want to have kids anymore. They already had, I think, 3 kids. And she said she was done. And he said, look, you're going to get a vasectomy. And he said, well, look, I don't want to do that. You know, let's keep trying. Look, I want to have another baby. And she said, hey, to hell with that. If you want to be with me, you don't want me to leave you, you're going to get a vasectomy. So he proceeds to go and get a vasectomy. Right? I'm going to put up the definition so brothers, you know, we all on the same page. He proceeds to get a vasectomy. And once he's done getting his vasectomy, he comes back the next day and he finds out his woman committed adultery, man. And she's pregnant by another man. So now he got his vasectomy and he got to deal with it, right? And you can't, I don't think you can reverse that. Let's see, vasectomy, right? Okay, you see that? Is a form of male birth control. And that sounds effeminate already, man. Those 8 words or so sounds effeminate already. I'm on it's birth control. Let a brother come to tell me he want to be on birth control. And we might put hands on that brother, man. Hey, Ak, I'm thinking about, you know, male birth control. Vasectomy is a form of male birth control that cuts the supply of sperm to your semen. It's done by cutting and sealing tubes that carry sperm. Right? And this what Jake do, man. Oh, the old lady, she made me cut. She made me do this. Oh, that's my old lady. I didn't want to make her upset. Okay. And she's doing God knows what. And you let the nasty, vile devil get all in your secret parts and cause you to break the first commandment that the Most High gave man. The Most High said, be fruitful and multiply. Let's go to the book of Judges, chapter 8. Right? So it's a beautiful thing when you have children, man. Children are a sign in the ancient world as a sign of power, a sign of blessings, a sign of prosperity. It's really a sign that the Most High is dealing with you. If the Most High open up open up your woman's womb, open up the mother's womb. So the more children a woman had in the ancient world, the more that they were respected and lauded. And when women didn't have no children, or a man didn't have no sons, and he put his head down, right? You know, this Judges chapter 8 and verse 30. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. So he had 70 sons out of his own body, because he had many wives. 70 sons. You got Jake. How many you want? I want 2. I don't know. I want 1 boy and 1 girl. I want a boy named Xavier, and I want a girl named Keisha. Right? I want 1 boy, 1 girl, and I want a dog. Right? And that brother, his mind he's not all the way there yet. His mind ain't, I don't want no more kids. I don't know, man. Of course, we living in these days, right? We understand that mentality, you know, but nevertheless, the Most High can still protect you and will deal with you, man. right? Don't fear the times of evil, because that's a lack of faith. All right. But nevertheless, Gideon had 70 sons. So he was getting down, right? With his wife. He wasn't playing Scrabble and hopscotch, man. That's a big deal right there. Right? That's a big deal. When you go to 2 Chronicles chapter 11, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Bear with me. I want to go Rehoboam. Right? Rehoboam had many daughters. I have to find it. Okay, here it is. 2 Chronicles 11:21. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and concubines. But he took 18 wives and 60 concubines. He had 60 concubines and begat 28 sons and 60 daughters. He had 78 children. He had 28 sons and 60 daughters. 60. And so men back then, they was getting down. And they had more than one wife, man. So the so-called white man don't want you to keep that commandment. He said, okay, well, look, polygyny, it's unlawful in America. But you can lay with a beast and certain animals. So this system is corrupt and it's defiled. It's out of course. He has 60 daughters. What would you do with 60 daughters? And 28 sons, man. He had 78 children. He almost had 100 children. You know? So let's go to that. All right? Let's go back to this in Genesis. So we got to be fruitful and multiply, man. Let's go to Psalms chapter 128. Right? Psalms chapter 128. It reads, blessed is everyone that feareth the Lord, that walketh in his ways. For thou shalt eat the labor of thy hands. Happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee. So if you fear the Lord, you'll eat at the labor of your hands. It'll be well with you. Thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house. Thy children like olive plants round about thy table. Behold, that thus shall the man be blessed that feareth the Lord. You see that? The Lord shall bless thee out of Zion, and thou shalt see the good of Jerusalem all the days of thy life. Yea, thou shalt see thy children's children, and peace upon Israel. See, that's what the Most High said. Your children will be like olive plants round about thy table. And there's more than one olive that grows on a tree. Right? Look up an olive tree, see how many olives grow on a tree. And the Most High said, the man that fear the Lord, he's going to be just like that. So don't let nobody, don't let the so-called white man fool you, man. And these nations. Maybe it's not time. You always got these women, they go see the so-called white man doctors. They'll tell you, maybe it's not time. You need to focus on your degree. Right? You need to focus on your studies. You're 20 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. You don't want to. They do all of these use all these sorcery terms, man. Right? You don't want to do a disservice to your life. This is your life. Live it to the fullest. Follow your heart. Don't let this baby hold you back. It's not time. No, give it 10 years. Once you have your degree, once you're settled in, you have your condo, and you're 35 years old and you're regional vice president, then it's time to have a child. But in the meantime, from 20 to 35, hey, she's freaking off, man. Doing God knows what. So guess what? Brothers got to be fruitful and multiply, man. Because you had men in the ancient world saying it was off to marry. Well, you can't marry nobody because the Most High is not dealing with that. The purest man is a man that doesn't deal with a woman. But that's not according to the Most High. First Timothy chapter 4:3, forbidding to marry. So this was a doctrine. And commanding to abstain from meats, which the Most High have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So man was created to have a woman, right? The Lord said, he that hath no wife will go up and down mourning. It is not good that man should be alone. All right, we're going to get a few more in this and we're going to move on. Let's go to Sirach chapter 36 and 24. He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself and a pillar of rest. So the Most High made a just balance. He made man and he made woman. The Most High didn't just make a whole bunch of men. That's off. Because where's the next man going to come from? You got Esau that do these all men retreats, all men schools, all men universities, all boys this. No women are allowed. Right? They build cities, only men are allowed. And there's all types of freakism going on, man. You know? Esau throw you in these prisons, it's all men in there, and they be freaking off, man. It's not good for a man to be bounded up with 10,000 men for 10 years, 15 years, man. That's why a lot of that stuff that be going on in prison and in jail, and they be, doing God knows what, man. That's part of this wicked system. Because Esau know Jake, man. So they bound Jake up and put him in these facilities, man. And take away things from them. Like an animal, man. Verse 25, where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled. And he that hath no wife will wander up and down mourning. See that? So if you don't, not every brother, but brothers that, you live that life and you may not have a wife, you have those lonely days, man. We was talking to a brother at camp and we got on him. We told him you can't celebrate these worldly holidays. And we talked about Valentine's Day, so-called Valentine's Day. And he said, I was my own Valentine. And he kind of had his head up like this, man. Like, he was, doing something or saying something. Yeah, I'm my own Valentine. Right? The Most High is not dealing with that. Your own Valentine. I'm marrying myself. Spirit. All I need is me. Those be the brothers doing God knows what under the covers, man. Right? So, you'll have those spirits hop on you if you don't have a helpmeet. So the Most High said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And there's no such thing as overpopulation. Right? That's what Esau tells you. Well, we got to stop. Can't be fruitful because climate control, overpopulation. Do you think that the Most High has created imperfection? Let's go to Psalms chapter 116. You got Esau. Well, maybe we could. In China, you can only have one baby. I think they increased it now. Certain places you can only have 2 children. Right? Psalms chapter 115 and 16. Because they don't want the earth to overpopulate. Where is it at in the Bible? Psalms chapter 115 and 16. The heaven, even the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men. So the Most High gave the earth unto men. So the earth can contain however many spirits the Most High wanted to contain. You can't put the Most High in a box. Right? Well, that's impossible. You can't, the earth, it's going to overpopulate and we're going to have to find another planet to dwell in and another galaxy. We're going to have to take a shuttle ship and take 1/3 of man and move them to Mars. And we're going to have to start life on another planet and start another colony because the earth is full. So again, we don't listen to Esau's tactics. This Genesis 1 and 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, To you, it shall be for meat. So back then, all of the men were vegetarians and all of the women. Like I said, you never had a six-piece, man. You want 6 barbecue, 6 hot wings. Do you want ranch or blue? There was no ranch or blue cheese, man. There was no steak. Man was eating. Meat lovers. Everybody ate apples, oranges, pineapples, strawberries, papaya, and there's fruits that more than likely they had that we probably don't even have, man. You know? So all of man had to eat these things. Now, we read that in Genesis, the 6th chapter. All right, let's deal with man again. We're gonna get deeper, diving into man. Let's go to the book of Psalms, right? Chapter 139. Right, diving into the creation of man. Now, originally, let me get this first. When man was created, man's divine purpose, his end game, for lack of better terms, is to be immortal. Now, when man was created back then, they were in a body where they couldn't be immortal. But the end program for the elect is that the Most High created a particular class of men to live forever. All right, this is Genesis, Slakia, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and 23. For the Most High created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. So there is a group of men, the elected men of people, that were made to be immortal. Not everybody, when they were created with the end game of being immortal. Esau wasn't created to be immortal. The Moabites and the Ishmaelites, the Hagarenes, the Ammonites, the Hittites, these strange nations, they were not created to be immortal. They were given a timeline, and they're always going to hit that timeline. The Most High gave them 70 to 80 years. Right now, we're bound by that timeline on this level, but in the kingdom, the Most High is going to have those, the elect, max out and be immortal, man. He's going to take that ceiling off and that cap off, for lack of better terms. You're going to be immortal. Now, when man was created in Genesis, was he immortal? No. He was bound in these earthly bodies, right? And man was made a little lower than the angels and made subject unto death. All right, let's get that in Hebrews chapter 1. Right? Hebrews chapter... Slakia. I had the Hebrews 8, Slakia. I had that one written down. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 8. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse... Slakia, I'm going to just pull it in for sake of time. Psalms, Slakia, I said Hebrews. Psalms chapter 8 and 5. It reads, For thou... I'm going to start at 4. What is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visitest him? Because when it comes to the comparison of man and the Most High, man is dust. See, man wants to walk around as if they're the chief thing on the earth. You're nothing in the eyes of the Most High. When you were created to run this system on the earth. You wasn't created to run the Most High and tell the Most High what to do, man. So the Lord has given you more insight on man. For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and has crowned him with glory and honor. So man has been made a little lower than the angels. So there's a chain of command. You got the Most High Yahweh, you got Yahweh Shai, you got the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael. You got chief demons on the left-hand side, Satan, Asmodeus, and you have other spirits. And then underneath those, a little lower, is man. But not just any man, it's really the Israelite man. The Israelite man is a little lower than the angels. Because the Israelite man, when he was created, or the sons of God, they were created to be peculiar, different, special, unique. They were created to excel in places that these other nations can excel in. Right? Why do you think we bring the precept out all the time? Brothers know Deuteronomy 7:6. Right, let's get it. We were created to be above these other nations and a little lower than the angels. Right, this Deuteronomy chapter 7:6. For thou art, and it's really, when you think about it, it's deep because it's all according to Lot. Because the Most High, we could have been Edomites. There are actual people that are Edomites out there, and they don't even know it, man. They have no idea what's going on. You got Moabites. They don't know that they're a Moabite. They have no idea what's going on in the land of the living. So, hey, it's a high calling to be an Israelite, and it's higher to be called into this truth, and it's even higher to be chosen. Right? So, hey, this thing gets deep, man. Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people. See, the Israelites are a special people. He made all types of people, but we're different. We have intelligence. We have common sense. You understand? We're very subtle. We're in tune with the earth. The sun is for us. The moon is for us. The beast, they had these certain clips, man, where they show these Eves or these Jakes going into like the Amazon or these jungles and the safari. And, believe it or not, a lot of these animals, they naturally submit to Jake when they're around, man. Because these beasts know who should be running the earth. Even dogs, you see how Edomite deal with his beast? He turns the beast to his lover. But these Jakes who have they beasts, it's a different spirit, man. We treat the earth and animals different than how these other nations do it. We don't just go out there and hunt damn wild animals, man, for no reason. It's not in our spirit to go hunt lions and elephants and gazelles, man. It's not in the Jake spirit to go and just chop down trees for no reason, man. We're a special people. We live here like this is our home, like the earth is made for us. Esau lives here like an invader, an invasive species. That's what they call it. A demon. Jake, we live here like we ain't going nowhere. Esau live here like, look, he only got one life to live, man. Esau live here like, look, I got one life. I'm going to rape, rob, and murder. Do what I got to do because I'm going to be gone soon. We live here in our spirit like we ain't going nowhere, man. Esau's trying to travel to this place. We're different people, man. So much so, when you read Genesis 25, the Most High said, and we're a plain man dwelling in tents, man. Right? Genesis chapter 25 and 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So Esau got to explore. He's living here like he has a ton. I got damn one life to live. He's jumping into dark caves trying to figure it out. We don't have to figure that out, man. We don't have to figure out what's down there. We know it's not safe. Everything's not meant to be explored. Esau's hanging off of cliffs, and we're not going to hang off a cliff. You might die. Common sense tells you might slip. Esau's going, I saw this one clip, they were doing bungee, what do they call it? Bungee jumping, bungee diving. You know what I'm talking about. It was bungee jumping, right? Or whatever they call it. And they were doing it in the dark, man. They had no lights on. They were literally bungee diving or bungee dipping in the middle of the night, man. And there were no lights around. Yeah, one guy with like a GoPro light on, and these guys, they was bungee jumping in the middle of the night. Nobody knows if they landed or if they came back up, and everybody's clapping. We're not bungee jumping anywhere, man. You got bugged out of your mind, you got a bungee jump. The damn thing is it'll snap on you, man. We don't do things where we put our life on the line. willfully, man. Jake, you might have demons on, you might, be doing God knows what, man. But we don't really live like that. Now, when you look up this word plain, man, this word plain, that's why it's important to go into the Hebrew. It's the in the Hebrew, right? And we're going to show you what this word plain means. Right? This word plain, right? It's the and it means what? Jacob was a plain man, perfect, complete, perfect, sound, wholesome, an ordinary, quiet sort of person, morally innocent, having integrity, one who is morally and ethically pure. So we were created to be ethically pure. We're morally upright. You're naturally prone to do righteous things. It's only in this man's system you have this wicked influence of guns and violence and movies and TV and radio and media and rappers and celebrities. So we're being influenced. We're seduced. Remember, the Most High likens us unto sheep. Right? So we're easily led astray. That's part of we're led astray without our shepherd. But naturally, we're ethically pure. When you go to Romans, the 10th chapter, it says that, or Romans, the 2nd chapter, it says the Gentiles do the things in the law by nature, right? So, like, let me pull this back up. Oh, boy. I don't know how to pull this back up. Okay, Con. All right, it says Romans chapter 2, and I'm going to start at, I want to get straight to the point. Romans chapter 2 and 26. All right, I'm going to get 26. Romans chapter 2 and 26. Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? Right? Because you had Israelites that weren't physically circumcised, but they were still keeping the law. All right. And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee, who by the letter and circumcision doth transgress the law. So you had Israelites that were uncircumcised by nature, still keeping the law. They were still being obedient and still serving the Most High and still keeping the commandments, man. And still doing the work. Now, here's what I really want, right? Romans 2 and 14. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. What does this mean? It means you had Israelites during the time of the apostles, and even now, who do by nature. When you do things by nature, it's in you. You don't have to teach nobody that. You don't have to do a 3-hour lesson on it. They're programmed to do it. So Israelite foreigners, whether you're in the truth or you're in the world, without that deep, dark influence, you're naturally going to do things that are righteous, right? That's why, Jake, you got stuff like street justice, and you got stuff where I saw this video of this Edomite that beat up this old lady, man. This Eve. And this Jake avenged her, man. Like he kept the law of the revenger of blood. I don't know if brother saw that video, but this Edomite beat up this random old Eve, man. And this Jake came out of nowhere, kind of suplexed him and beat him up, man. As if he was the avenger of blood pursuant to the law. Now, does he know the law? No. But he's naturally going to do these things. We naturally care for the elderly, man. We naturally respect our elders, man. You know? We naturally love one another. See, when Israelites, when they have a brotherhood, that brotherhood is stronger than any other nation's so-called brotherhood, man. When Jake come together and love one another, it's a different feeling, man. These other nations can't do that. So we may not have had the law in the world, but by nature, the Israelite man was created to do the things in the law. You know it's wrong to murder. That's why you put your head down, man. Jake, you get these teardrop tattoos, and you know you know it's off. You know it's wrong to steal. Esau don't have that, man. You know you shouldn't be talking to this brother's wife. That's why you're sneaking around and doing it, because you know it's wrong. I'm gonna read this one more time. For when the Gentiles which have not the law do by nature the things contained in the law, these, having not the law, are a law unto themselves, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience. See that? Also bearing witness, and their thoughts, the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. So you have a conscience. The Israelite man was created with a particular mind. Let me pull up this word conscience in the Greek. Right? So we're diving deep into the creation of man. Right? I'm gonna have to do a series on this, part 2. So syneidesis is the Greek word for conscience. And it says the consciousness of anything, the soul as distinguishing between what is morally good and bad, prompting to do the former. So you're prompted to do what's good and shun the latter, and you're going to shun what's bad. Commending one, meaning you're going to commend the brother who does something righteous, and condemning the other. All right. There was another thing. This Eve got caught. I think this was on the news, and it was might have been a clip that went with it. You know, sad to say, this was a horrific account. This Eve, she beat her baby so bad, and I think she broke one of the baby's back. I think the back was, the baby was like maybe 8 months old or 9 months old. You can look it up on your own in due time, but she broke the baby's back. And, you know, the hospital came and the baby was hanging on for dear life. And don't you know, everybody in that neighborhood came out, man. Jake and Eve. And they rolled up on her, man. Old and young. They all came out the house once they found out what that Eve and that dude was doing, and they beat these Israelite babies up. Guess what? They all got out the house, man. And they rolled up on that woman, man. And guess what they did to that woman? They beat her up, man. They got on her. And they did something to that dude, to the guys ain't handle him, man. You know? Why? Because Jake, you morally know that that's off. And we're a people of justice, man. We're a people of equity. So whether we go about it the right way or not, you know, Jake, you take justice into your own hands to do what is morally good. Right? So man was made with a conscience. Now, do all people use their Slakia? That's why Deuteronomy 7 says we're a special people. It goes beyond running fast. It goes beyond being strong. It goes beyond dunking a basketball and dressing the best. And all those things are true. We do art. We're the most athletic. We dominate fashion, music, but we're so special. It's our spirit. It's the mind that Yahweh Ba'ashmiah has given unto us that separates us from the other nations. How we approach situations spiritually. How we have discernment and common sense. You know, morals, and we're ethically pure like Jacob. We're a plain people. We read the definition in Genesis, the 25th chapter. Wholesome, morally upright. We're Jacob, right? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, the 14th chapter. Now, everybody, when the Most High created them, all flesh was created with a conscience, right? It would seem as though they don't have a conscience, but they do. Even Esau has a conscience. But guess what he does? He willfully just becomes wicked, because he's programmed. His conscience and his mind has been programmed to do things that are morally and wickedly done, man, or morally wrong, and do wickedness. And the other nations, they're in between, right? They can kind of do good, but not like we can. And they can do bad like Esau, right? So the nations, they're kind of like in between. Esau's the absolute wicked, and Jacob, you're the absolute righteous, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 14 and verse 1, still dealing with the creation of man. So he dealt with the day man was created, when man was created, right? Certain commandments given unto man. Now we're tapping into the spirit of man, him being a little lower than the angels, being made with a conscience. Particular types of people that was created. All right, Ecclesiastes chapter 14 and 1. Blessed is the man that hath not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. Right? We brought this out on the previous cold cut, man. We dealt with dreams and visions. Right? We're going to put up again the definition of conscience. The inner feeling or voice as acting to the rightness or wrongness of one's behavior. A still small voice, you can read about that in Kings. Moral sense, sense of right and wrong. So the nations have a conscience. But Esau, he really just has a sense of wrong because he can't do right. This right part, the Most High extracted that from him. I'm going to take that doing right away from the Edomites, and I'm going to give them nothing but wrong. Right? You Israelites, I'm going to give you right, and I'm going to give you wrong. I'm going to show you good, and I'm going to show you evil. I'm going to show you how to be righteous and what wickedness is. All Esau knows nothing but wickedness, man. Right? So what the scripture is saying, it's saying that, hey, look, man, the days when you don't feel bad about going off, or it's like, I'll put it like this. The days when you go off and feel bad about going off, it's good to feel bad, but you don't want to have those days because you shouldn't be going off anyway, man. So when the Most High said, blessed is he whose conscience has not condemned him, you never want to be in a situation when you feel bad about going off. Damn, I can't believe I broke the Sabbath. That's your conscience condemning you. Right? That spirit of right and wrong is triggered, and you know that you went off. So you put your head down. And you may cry. You may smote upon your chest. You may feel bad because you know you were created to be able to accept right and wrong. So you don't want to have your conscience condemn you at any time, because that means more than likely you went off and did something that you regret. All right. So you have you have a conscience, but it depends on the spirit of how Yahweh Shai has created you, man. Now, when you go, I had another precept in mind. When you go to Salakia, it escaped me. Let me go back to Deuteronomy 7. The Lord willing to come back. I remember, Salakia, all praises. Let's go to Sirach chapter 17. All praise to the Most High. Right, Ecclesiastes, the 17th chapter. Let's deal with this. Right, Ecclesiastes chapter 17, dealing with man. So, man, you have a conscience. You have a spirit. Right? A lot of these terms are synonymous with each other. You hear people say mind, body, and soul. Right? Before I get that, let's get this in Mark 12. Right? You're supposed to love the Most High with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, paraphrasing. Mark 12 and 30, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. So these are, some of these terms are synonymous. They mean the same thing. Your heart and your mind, they're all interchangeable, right? Because your heart is your mind. Now, is this talking about your brain? No. The Most High isn't talking about your brain. Your mind is part of your conscience, your spirit. It's the spiritual aspect to get you to understand right and wrong, right? And to tap into the spiritual things. See, if you pull up the anatomy of man, there's no part that says mind. It's just brain. You got your right side of your brain, Okay, you got your left side of your brain, you got your cerebellum, your hypothalamus, your occipital. You got all these things that the so-called white man brings out there, but he never talks about your mind, unless he's trying to hypnotize you or put you in a spell, or you got people that talk about it, but they don't know what's going on. They call it your third eye. Some people say it comes from your pituitary gland and your chakra. So they try to go too far off. All it is talking about the spirit that the Most High gave you, your conscience, right? Your spirit that you have to serve the Most High, right? And your soul is pretty much your life force, and it's also synonymous with your spirit too. So man was created with a soul or a spirit, huh? When you read Genesis, and they're used in different contexts in certain times, right? You go to Genesis chapter 35 and verse, bear with me. I want to get this. Here it is. Genesis chapter 35 and verse 17. Here's Rachel giving birth unto Benjamin, right? And it came to pass when she was hard in labor that the midwife said unto her, fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Ani, but his father called him Benjamin or Banyamin. See that? So Rebecca, her soul was departing. The Most High was gathering her soul or her spirit back into him. Now, Esau doesn't tell you that. If we look up the anatomy again, anatomy of man, right? I should say a human, right? But let's see. All right, you don't see, okay, human anatomy. Okay, your brain, your lymph nodes, your lungs. Now, you do have these things, right? You do have a brain. You do have these various things in your body. Now, the Most High has different names, right? There's Hebrew names for these things, but nevertheless, you do have these parts in your body, right? Called your reins or, different things of that nature, your inward parts. Now, your soul isn't here right here. Where's your soul at? Because the so-called white man don't believe in that, man. Their science doesn't deal with spiritual things. They don't deal with holy things. So her soul was in departing. You can't find that on a chart, man. That's talking about your spirit. Remember, the Lord said, all souls are mine. So man was created with an active soul, right? Ezekiel 18:4. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also is the soul of the Son. It's like, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall what? It shall die. Right? So that's how the Most High get down, man. Right? The Most High gets down as the creator of souls. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15. All right. So sometimes your soul and spirit are synonymous, and they're used in different light. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 10. I'm gonna start at 11. For as much as he knew not his maker, and him that inspired into him an active soul, and breathed in a living spirit. So the Most High gave you an active soul when you were created, and a living spirit when you were created. All right. So now your spirit is your life force, and your spirit is really a fire, right, inside of you, man, that keeps you rolling. That's why, some people, man, they could let me prove that in Psalms chapter 104, that your spirit is a fire. Right? Psalms chapter 104 and verse 4. Who maketh his angel spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. So your spirits are nothing but fire. The angels, they're a spirit, but they're flaming fire. That's why you have, your body is hot. Your body's, what do they say? Even Esau tell you your body's at what, 98 degrees, 98.6, right? And And when you get sick, you have a fever, and your body, your spirit heats up, right? And your body temperature increases to fight whatever infirmities and burn out those demons that are in you. That's a spiritual aspect of it. Esau says, okay, well, your body's increasing the temperature, because it's going to kill the microorganisms. On a scientific level, yes. But remember, your sicknesses are you being bound by infirmities and by demons. So the Most High tap into your spirit and it afflicts your flesh, but your spirit increases. That's what that fever goes into, and it burns out those other demons inside of you, man. That's why your temperature could be 98, then it turn to 101, then 104, and your flesh feel weaker because your spirit is on overdrive mode to purge out those demons and those infirmities inside of you. Now, some people, the Most High could tap their spirit up so high, they can what they call spontaneously combust. And that's a real thing. If you look up, let's see, spontaneous combustion, you could just be sitting there and just explode, right? Spontaneous combustion or spontaneous ignition, right? Slakia, bear with me. It reads, is a type of combustion which occurs by self-heating, followed by thermal runaway and fully auto ignition. So the Most High, let's see if I can get this. I'll type in human. The Most High can just have you explode, man. See that? The term is like a spontaneous human combustion refers to a situation when a human body is found with significant portions of the middle parts of the body reduced to ashes. So it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Most High, man. He could take that active soul and just heat it up times 1,000. And then your damn insides are burning and, it's turning into ashes and your skin start to get hot. And next thing you know, hey, guess what, man? You out of there. And you back somewhere in the spirit world. So the Most High, when he created man on a highly spiritual level. It goes beyond the brain, then the stomach, and the liver, and the kidney, man. When we're dealing with the creation of man, we're going into the spiritual side of why the Most High put man in a particular position that he's in, and why man does what he does. Okay, so let me read this one more time from the beginning. The term spontaneous human combustion refers to a situation when a human body is found with significant portions of the middle parts of the body reduced to ashes. And this can really happen. It has happened. There are actual accounts. Much less damage to the head and extremities, and minimum damage to the direct surroundings of the body. So, your whole house could catch on fire, right? See that? Look at that. See that? This is the real deal, man. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 20. So the Most High, he can do these things. This is Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 7. O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed against me. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. So Jeremiah was complaining to the Most High that, oh Lord, you sent me out here. They're not listening. They hard-headed. They mocking me. I can't do this anymore. For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me and a derision daily. So Jeremiah said, I can't do this anymore. I need a break. That's what he's telling the Most High, right? Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in mine heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones. and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. So Jeremiah said, look, I don't want to do the work of the Most High. I'm going to go sit down, and they wicked, and I'm going to just sit over here like Jonah, man. But the Most High did what? He said, to hell with that, man. You're going to teach the people. So the Most High tapped into his spirit and start firing up that zeal. So Jeremiah, he wanted to sit here, but the spirit in that fire is programming him to go out there, and then he starts shaking the hand and getting on the people. And he don't know why, right? Now the Most High can do that in righteousness and have that fire shut up in your bones and turn it to zealous works. Or the Most High could turn that fire up and kill you. People die of fevers, 105 degrees. Oh, you're burning up. You're dying. That's the Most High tapping into that spirit. Or the Most High can hit that butt, for lack of better terms, and just have you explode. You know? Hey, so guess what? It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Keep playing with the Most High. The Lord don't have to just kill you with an earthquake or getting hit by a 16-wheeler. You could be sitting here right now, and what's that smell? You think something cooking upstairs, and you open the oven. Did I leave the food in the oven? And you know it's nothing in there, and you're looking around. Maybe the incense fall and light a fire, and you smell it, and then you smell like smoke, and and your damn shirt catch on fire, and you're trying to put it out, and then your damn body explode, man. And the Most High cut you down. So here's right here, spontaneous combustion, and this has happened plenty of times. Look at this, ashes. Right, just a leg. Right, or they also call it, I've heard this before, the wick effect. Right, your body's fat acts like candle wax, and your body begins to burn. Right, let me pull that up, the wick effect. See that? The wick effect is the partial or total destruction of a human body by fire, when the clothing of the victim soaks up melted human fat and acts like the wick of a candle. Hey, so the Most High gets down. The wick effect is a phenomenon found to occur under certain conditions and has been thoroughly observed. So these things happen. You got the wick effect. You're just sitting up there and your body lighting on fire. And then you got spontaneous combustion. And the Most High gave you this active soul, this living spirit, this fire inside of man in the day that he was created. And that spirit allows you to connect with the Most High. That spirit allows you to be in tune with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. That spirit gives you zeal and a fire. So let's go into Ecclesiastes, the 17th chapter. Right, dealing with the creation of man and why man was created. You have all these people asking what they call the great big question. What is the meaning of life? Why is man here? Right? If you look it up, let's see, what is the meaning of life? What do they say? What is, it's like I spelled it wrong. Meaning of life, dealing with man. Why are we here? What is life all about? So this is one of what they call a deep question. All right, we're going to cover this. We're covering the creation of man, why man is here, what purpose they serve, the spiritual aspects of men, active souls and spirits, and fruitful and multiplying. Like I said, it's deeper than just Adam and his woman, man, Eve. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 17:1. The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again and again. The bodily elements that you have in your flesh are the same elements found in the earth. We talk about that all the time, right? You have phosphorus in your bones, calcium in your bones, iron in your blood, right? You have magnesium and potassium. All of these elements that you can extract out of the earth are what? Found in your body. And for brothers that haven't seen that chart, let's pull that up. Elements in earth found in body. All right, let's pull this up. The human body is approximately 99% comprised of 6 elements: oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, calcium, and phosphorus. Another 5 elements make up about 0.85%. That's sulfur, potassium, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. So your body is made of the dust of the earth. So even what they're bringing out coincides directly with the creation of the Most High. So man being made out of the dust of the ground is proven in the elements that are contained in man's body. So the Lord, that's why we brought out how the Most High manufactured man earlier. He manufactured man. He made man in mass, on a mass production level, and he made man by the work of his hands, and took the elements of the earth and used them to make what we have here now. This was done by intelligent design. The way that your body's created, the way your cells operate and your endocrine system and how your organs are lined up in tune, and this is intelligent design. It is not random. It's not a Big Bang theory. You have to have a creator. See, the Most High, he calls us the creature. Right, let's get that in Romans, the 8th chapter. We're called the creature. And in order to be a creature, you have to have a creator. Romans chapter 8 and verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who had subjected the same in hope. Right? So we're known as the creature. Right? And the Most High, he is the creator. And he has created us in a particular fashion with particular elements and by what they call intelligent design. Right? That's what that's the terminology they put out there. Right? You can pull that up. You can see these different things and they actually give you the breakdown. Right? They give you some more insight into it. So that's what this means. The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again. Because when you die, you decompose and you go back into those elements. All right, reading on. He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein. So the Most High put you on a clock, right? Gave you 80 years. Let's get that. That's what it means he gave them a short time. Psalms chapter 80. Let me select chapter 90. All right, the Most High gave us a short time. Psalms chapter 90 and verse 10. The days of years, it's like the days of our years, are 80 years and 10. That's 70. And if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. So when the Most High created man by this intelligent design and formed this creature, which we are, we're just a creature. We're a thing that's been created. We've been created with a timeline to be on this earth that the Most High created. So you really think about it, man is nothing. Think about how you have been created by the Most High and that the details behind it, it'll humble you, man. You're a thing or a creature, and you are given a time limit to be here on what the Most High created. So why is man proud? That's what the scriptures say. Why is earth and ashes proud? And Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter. You know? So man is wicked. So you were given 70 years. And if the Most High give you 80, it's not going to be a good time. All right? So let's go back to this. He gave them, Sirach 17 and 2. He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein. He endued them with strength by themselves and made them according to his image, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. Right? We covered that. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord. And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding And in the seventh, speech, an interpreter of the cogitations thereof. So we have what they call five senses: your smell, your touch, your taste, your sight, and your hearing. Those are your five senses. These are the five operations of the Lord. So yes, the Lord made man and this earthly body right here out of these elements, but the Most High also gave them what they call particular body parts and members and organs that could be in tune to connect with the Most High. Right? You're not just a blob of goo on the ground, man. The Lord gave you ears and eyes. That's his likeness. Because the Most High can see. The Most High can hear. The Most High can smell. If the Most High wanted to, and he can taste, man. Right? The Most High can touch. So that all goes into being in the likeness of the Most High. Not just the physical body parts, but what these body parts are used for, right? To a certain extent. So those are your five operations of the Lord: your smell, your touch, your taste, your sight, and your hearing. But man also has a sixth sense. And man has a seventh sense. See, beasts, they only have five. Right? Beasts only have five senses. Lions and dogs and cats, they can smell, touch, hear, see, and taste or whatever. But man, you have two more senses. You're 2 levels above them, 2 degrees above those other creatures that were made on the 6th day, because you have the sixth sense, right? And in the sixth place, he imparted them understanding. What is understanding? Let's go to Proverbs 9 and 10. So we have something called understanding. The beasts of the field, they don't have understanding, right? You got animals, they urinating on couches, they humping pillows. Yeah, they don't know what's going on. Proverbs 9 and 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So when the Most High said we have understanding, it's not talking about the understanding of mathematics. It's the understanding of the spiritual things, of the Most High, of the law, of the commandments, of righteousness. We have understanding. Let's go to Job chapter 28. Right, and 28. It reads, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So understanding is defined as the knowledge of the law or knowledge of the Most High, and also to depart from evil is another definition of understanding. Do cats and dogs and swine know how to depart from evil? Does a pig know, hey, look, maybe I shouldn't be doing this? I don't know what's gotten into me. Does a pig have a conscience to condemn them? Damn, I was rolling around in filth all day. Damn, I hadn't washed in 3 weeks. What's getting into me? It's not like me. They're not thinking like that, man. They have no conscience of right and wrong. They don't have understanding. They don't have that sixth sense that we have. But we also have a seventh sense. It reads, and in the seventh, speech, an interpreter of the cogitations thereof. So speech is what? Sound used to communicate what you're thinking, right? That's all it is. That's what this means, an interpreter of the cogitations, meaning all of your thoughts can be conveyed effectively through communication and through words and through a language that the Most High has and as he has created, which is originally the Hebrew tongue. So the thoughts that you think, you convey them in a Hebrew, the same language that the Most High has, right? Now, the beasts, they make sounds, they oink, they move, they bark, they meow, they screech, they bray, they howl. But we have a way where we can communicate effectively and magnify the name of the Most High. Right? What else did the Most High give man in the creation? Counsel and the tongue, eyes, ears, and a heart gave he them to understand. Withal, he filled them with the knowledge of understanding and showed them good and evil. He set his eye upon their hearts that he might show them the greatness of his works. So we're the only people that really know the greatness of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and his great works. These other nations don't know what's going on, man. These beasts don't recognize what's happening. Now, you do have certain creatures, they know about the Most High. When you read Psalms chapter 104, it says the young lions seek their meat from the Lord, man. All right, let's go to Psalms chapter 104. Right? This is Psalms chapter 104 and verse 21. The young lions roar after their prey and seek their meat from God. So the creatures know about the Most High. They know about the Lord, man. They know that Esau is terrorizing the earth. You watch certain of these things, these animals be getting on Esau, man. I just saw a bear at this circus attack these heathen, man. He just rose up. He said he had enough. I think it was a lion or a bear. And he rose up. He said, "To hell with Esau, man." And he just started attacking them. Because guess what? The Most High is not having these creatures not know what's going on to a certain extent. So they know a little bit of something. And they know who should be in charge. Right? Even the Lord said the trees will rejoice when this place is shut down in Isaiah the 14th chapter. All right? So let's go back to Sirach chapter 17 and 9. He gave them glory and his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. So you were created to use your eyes, ears, smell, touch, taste, hearing, speech, and understanding to declare the works of the Most High. You wasn't created to have eyes to watch lewd, nasty sights. You weren't given the 5 operations of the Lord to sin. You weren't given ears to hear lewd music all day and a mouth to eat swine's flesh. Right? You weren't given these senses to be used in wickedness, man. Man was created with these operations to be able to do what? To magnify their creator and to speak of their creator's works and their creator's wonderful deeds that he has wrought in the earth, and to pray to the Most High and to thank the Most High and to serve the Most High. You wasn't created with a nose to smell shrimp all day, man. A shrimp, what they call it? A seafood boil. Your nose wasn't created to smell that, man. Your fingers wasn't used to grab another man's wife up and take bottles of liquor straight to the head. See, man doesn't know what these 5 operations are for. They're used to serve the Most High. Your speech isn't used to backbite. It's not supposed to be for backbiting, whispering, murmuring, confessing white Jesus and Christianity. Your thoughts and cogitations should not be lewd behavior. All of your operations that when you were created, all 7 of them in perfection were used to perfectly magnify the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Salakia. And that's why when you go to verse 10, it says, and the elect shall praise his holy name. See that? So you were created to praise his holy name. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. So the Most High gave you order, gave you laws, gave you commandments, gave you a heritage. Man, this whole chapter is good. All right, we're going to keep reading. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, right? Let's read on. Verse 12. He made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments. Their eyes saw the majesty of his glory, and their ears heard his glorious voice. And now on one fold, we heard the voice of the Most High in Exodus chapter 19, but on another level, when man was created and they were told to be fruitful and multiply and to have that particular diet of eating the herb of the field, they heard Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And that would be a scene to see, man. All of man being created, and they're looking at Yahweh Bashmi Abushai, and they're giving them order and instruction. Then they proceed to follow that. Verse 14. He said unto them, beware of all unrighteousness. And he gave every man commandment concerning his neighbor. Their eyes are ever before him. It's like if their ways are ever before him and should not be hid from his eyes. Because when you're created, the Most High has an angel there recording you in the womb, how you move, how you kick your mother's stomach, how you damn blink, and how you curl up. See, that's what this means. Their ways are ever before him. A lot of people think the Most High is watching them when they're an adult or when they're born. No, the Most High has been watching you when you were created from the womb. There are angels set up to observe you. Let's go to Psalms chapter 139. Right, this Psalms chapter 139 and verse 13. But thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. So David is speaking about the creation, but the creation of him being in his mother's womb. Right? Now Esau calls it he calls an acrosomal reaction, and he has these different terms he wants to use that begins life. Well, that's not according to the Most High. Right? Let me see if I can find that. He has all of these technical terms he wants to throw out there. Okay, you see that? An acrosome reaction when a sperm, pretty much when a sperm penetrates the egg, right? And they say that's when life begins. That's that great explosion of life when a sperm, they go out and they running and they racing and they get to the egg and then they penetrate the egg and then there's life, right? Well, David is speaking about that on a deeper level. He's showing you what actually goes on from the time that sperm hits the egg when he's an embryo and to the time that the angels come down and record what's going on in the womb, right? So let's pull that up. Psalms chapter 139 and 13. But thou hast possessed my my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. And Esau to this day, they're still trying to figure out how man is made. They have all of these theories, and well, you have this reaction, and this chemical releases, and it allows man. They don't know. Never in a so-called white man school system does he teach you about the spirit being sent down from the earth, coming down inside of the mother's womb and causing life to be. They don't break it down like that. They just say the sperm hit the egg and you had an embryo, right? You can abort it if you want to. David said, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance, he's about to get deep into it. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lower parts of the earth. So what does this mean? My substance was not hid from thee. But the Most High sees you even as a what they call an embryo, even as a fetus. Okay, it says bones, might. I want to see what that's saying in another translation. But it's speaking about you being in your mother's womb. They call it your embryo, or they call it, like your fetus. Okay, so my substance was not hid from thee. Verse 16. Thine eyes, meaning his angels, did see my substance, yet being unperfect. Why are you unperfect? Because you're not fully developed yet. You're still in your mother's womb, man. You're unperfect. You don't have a full head and hands, and you can't crawl and walk and think. You're created in an unperfected state. But the Most High calls that state your substance state. And that's when Esau comes and he takes that when they do I believe they call it a sonogram. They do the sonogram and they take the fluid, it's like you, and they put it on the mother's womb and they're rubbing it all around, and that's the head right there, and and you look at it on the screen, and okay, that's his stomach, and oh, that's a boy right there, and you see. So they're trying to be like the Most High. They're trying to have eyes to see you in your mother's womb. All right, they're trying to be like the angels of the Lord, man. They're printing out pictures and using all types of madness to show you, Slakia, what your child looks like, man. And I want to pull this up, so bear with me. I want to go to this and Psalms 139, right? Psalms 139 and verse 16. Yep. So I'm gonna pull this up. That's what I want. I'm gonna pull it up in another translation, just so brothers can have more insight into it. All right. So we'll go to Bible Hub, and I want to go to Psalms 139 and 16, so brothers can see that in another light. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes the old English and the vernacular of that time may not help you understand truly what the Most High is explaining. Okay, so Psalms 139, and I want verse 16. Salakia. Bear with me. All right. So here's Psalm chapter 139 and 16, right? Your eyes saw my unformed body. We know the eyes of the Lord are the angels, right? Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Your eyes saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. See that? Your eyes saw my unformed substance, my unformed body, my formless substance, my unshaped substance, when I was formless. Look at this. Your eyes saw my germination, right? So they going deep into it. See, your germination is when you're created, right? When you're born, right? Let's see. My imperfect being. Look at this from the ISV. Your eyes looked upon my embryo. So you've been in your embryonic stage, if I'm pronouncing that right, it's documented in the Bible, right? But the Most High calls it your substance stage. Your eyes looked upon my embryo, and everything was recorded in your book. The days scheduled. I like that. I like that word right there. See, the Most High scheduled your days, man. Right? The days scheduled for my formation were inscribed. That's why you have 9 months. The Lord scheduled you to be in that womb 9 months. And some babies are scheduled to be in that womb 10 months. Some are, 3 months, and they may give up the ghost or whatever the case may be. Even though not one of them had came yet. See that? So that's what this is going into in Psalms chapter 139. Let's read on. How precious, Psalms 139 and 17. How precious are thy thoughts. It's like how precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them. See that? So man was created in a particular fashion. Psalms, it's like it's right, chapter 17 and 16. Every man from his youth is given to evil, neither could they make to themselves fleshly hearts for stoning. So another part of man's creation is man was made to go off. Man was given unto evil. Right, let's get that in 2nd Ezra, chapter 4 and 30. Man was programmed to be evil and scheduled to live out a life of sin. And there's nothing man can do about it. You were made to go off, just so you can hope in the Most High. Right? Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and 30. For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. And how much ungodliness hath it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come? So you had evil seed that was sown in Adam from the beginning. So Adam, believe it or not, he was going to go off regardless of Eve or the serpent. Rather that situation played out or the Most High had another situation play out, he was going to go off. We go off. We go off every day. I go off, you go off. If you say you don't go off, then you're going off. You see that? Because we, in our mind, we still carry a particular demon or a spirit that the Most High put in our heart, deep in our conscience, deep in our soul, when we're still going to do what's wrong. Even though we know the law, even though we know the commandments, our conscience is going to condemn us and we're going to go off. Then we're going to repent. We're going to fear the Most High. We're going to try to come back to the Lord. That's how this works in this truth, man. You know, we were made subject to vanity. We read that in Romans chapter 8. So vanity rules over us, just so we can hope that the Most High takes us out of this flesh, man, and gives us an immortal body. Right? But with that, I'm going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Most High willing you were edified. This has been a creation of man, the fall of man, the Torah and other secrets. Keep the Sabbath holy. Tune in to the Sabbath service we'll be doing around 12 o'clock or so, right? 12 p.m., give or take, on the main channel, Watching for Israel. The Feast of Destruction of Nicanor is next so-called Friday night, and Purim is so-called Saturday night. Keep the Sabbath holy. No buying, no selling, no looting, no sex, no profane talk, no doing your own pleasure, no cooking, no vanities. Keep the Sabbath holy. Do the work of the Most High. Stay in the spirit. Kwam Yasha. Shalom.